Back when I was younger, I used to hate my work. I used to hate going to school, doing my homework, or just other things that were a little bit uncomfortable and that required a little bit of struggle in order for me to do well in it. I was always stimulating my brain. Instagram, TikTok, video games, all these other bad habits that were super stimulating made me hate my work. It was so hard for me to sit down and just do the hard work because I knew that the phone was just right there for me to reach. It was like it was pulling me towards it. I knew that there was more stimulating things to do, and it was so hard for me to just sit down and get my work done. But now, I use a tool, boredom, to help me love my work. Now, I have cut all the bad habits out. No more social media, no more video games. All of that is out of my life. And now, all I have is learning and work. And I use boredom in order for it to be the most stimulating thing in my life. And here is why. Boredom is the most uncomfortable thing in your life. If you're ever bored, if you're ever in a room and you're bored, and the only thing that you can do is either be bored or do your work, which one would you pick? Probably you would pick work, right? Because it's still a little bit more stimulating than boredom. And this is what I tried to achieve. I used boredom more like a tool to not only reset my brain, reset my dopamine levels, but to also crave the work. I try to make my life as understimulating as possible so that my work and learning is the most stimulating thing in my life. It's the highlight of my day because nothing else goes on in my life. And so that's why I try to incorporate boredom. I do things like doing nothing. Sitting in the car, or whenever I go on a walk, I try my best to do nothing. Look out the window. Yes, sometimes I listen to an audiobook or educational video, but sometimes I also just listen to nature, sit with my thoughts, be bored. And I do this in order to crave the work. Because like I said, when you're bored, you would rather be doing anything else. So why not that anything else be the most important work? And so this is what you want to try and do. 1, try to incorporate boredom into your life. Like I said, next time you're in the car, instead of just doing the stimulating thing, scrolling on your phone, why not just sit there and do nothing? Try to embrace boredom instead of rejecting it. Make it so that your life is super understimulating and your work and other hard things are the more stimulating thing. Try and make it so that boredom and work are the only two things in your life. So that when you're in a room and you sat there, you're doing nothing, and your work's right in front of you, you're tempted to do the work because that's the most stimulating thing in the room. And yes, it's easier said than done. Getting rid of the bad habits is definitely a hard thing, and I've gone through it myself. But it's a process, and I'm probably going to make a guide on it soon. So, and that's it. Use boredom to your advantage to not only reset your brain, to crave your work, but to also love it. Make it so that either you're doing nothing or your work. This is obviously the extreme case. Obviously, people have more in their life, like school or work. But try and make it as understimulating as possible so that the work that you're doing is the most stimulating. And I hope you learned something from this video. and maybe you could take something away from it. Thank you so much for watching.